Welcome back to another episode, a bonus episode, if you will, of the Transaction Care podcast. I don't normally drop episodes on Fridays, but hey, let's get creative and start something new. Let me know how you like this style of episode. It's just Q&A, no rhyme or reason, no real structure. You submit your questions, I answer them on the show. Maybe this will be a once a month, weekly, bi-weekly thing. Let's see how it goes. But as I'm wrapping up season 1, I wanted to just take a step back and answer some questions from the audience and give my perspective on these topics and take it from there. It's only a few questions. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we can definitely set up a one-on-one if you'd like to go over these questions. And if you ever do want me to talk about a certain topic, or you do have a question you'd like me to answer, submit them to me on Instagram, social media. That's where these questions came from. I also am just open to dialoguing. And if you want to come on the show and do this segment with me, I'm down. You can email tc@transactioncare.com or just follow me on all social media platforms at transactionCARE on all platforms, Facebook's, Instagram, and my new favorite, TikTok. And of course, YouTube, my baby. Definitely subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Let's go. Okay. All right. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. So let's just jump straight into these questions. The first question I received is, how do I become a transaction coordinator? So for those that are just now tuning in for the first time or have been tuned in, you know that I am a real estate transaction coordinator. I'm self-employed, and this is probably the number one question I've gotten recently based on all of the content I post, naturally, right? But being a transaction coordinator is a huge commitment. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you are simply an admin with receptionist or assistant type duties and tasks. You know, are they similar? Yes, but it isn't a job you apply for and then just fill in. Many of the TCs I have met were pretty much thrown into the fire and had to figure it out as they went, myself included. And to be honest, I'm still figuring out this vast world of real estate and business as a whole. And, but fortunately, times have changed and the internet is vast. More courses are being created for TCs. So I would definitely do a lot of research. You can simply type in transaction coordinator course. If you aren't sure if this is the right course for you, contact the creator. I'm pretty sure they're more than willing to answer questions. And those that are not willing to answer questions and only want to take your money, then I would keep it moving and consider that a red flag. But definitely do your research, read up as much as possible. I'm not going to give any recommendations to any specific courses just because I think it's important for everyone to find what works best for them. And anytime I have a new idea or feel the need to pivot, much like many of you that want to become transaction coordinators, I go back to the basics. So if I'm starting a new project, I ask myself first and always first, why? That is the big question where I need to sit with it, dig deep, write down some notes, write down, an essay if I have to on why I want to work on this next project. And I've done that with this podcast. I've done that with coaching. I've even done it with how I see myself as a transaction coordinator in the future. Why do I want to do this? What is my desired outcome? That's the next question I usually ask. What is my desired outcome? Is it to learn more about real estate? Is it to learn enough to eventually get your license, to become a transaction coordinator, to make a lot of money, to help realtors, to be able to work from home? What is your desired outcome, right? And that kind of goes into making sure it's also in alignment with your values. And then I think the main question most people want to know is, When do I start making money? I wish I had an answer for you, but if I told you it would take 6 months to 1 year before you started making any money, would you still do it? Marinate on those questions and let me know what comes up for you. And feel free to schedule a one-on-one with me to discuss this further, because I know on the surface it may seem like a good job, but when it comes down to unraveling all of the steps and eventually taking that first step, it could be very overwhelming and almost paralyzing, because there's so much information. And this is in no way, shape, or form to discourage you. I'm only saying this to encourage you, truly. So you're not blindsided and, coming into this thinking it's just all going to be handed to you. You are a business. If you are choosing to do this as a self-employed person, you are a business. Now, if you go apply to be a transaction coordinator at an office, I'm pretty sure that they will offer training, etc. You can also watch my content on YouTube to learn more. You can listen to past episodes of this podcast. I'm giving you all of the keys because I do not want to be a gatekeeper, but I understand that there are levels to this, and it's all about how you want to show up in this process, in this career, in this work field, and make your steps according to how you see it fit for you. The next question is, do I have a course? The answer is no, but I do have ideas. Sometimes too many. But if you just visit transactioncare.com, join my email list so you can start getting alerted as soon as I make any announcements, whether it's discounts on coaching, a course that I may drop, perhaps more collaborations for the podcast, my YouTube channel, whatever the case may be. For now, I do have a lot of free information on how to start to become a transaction coordinator, to be a TC as your new career path, and of course, in every episode of this show, as I've mentioned previously. And again, I do offer one-on-one coaching. So when you're ready to commit and invest in yourself, let me be your first call to get you on the right foot so we can get the ball rolling on your dreams and goals. By the way, I think my personal opinion, and if you want to debate this, it's fine, but I think $8,000 for a transaction coordinator course is ridiculous. I think it's too much. Fight me. Anyway, if you do want to promote your course or your business on my show, let's talk. We can get in collaboration as long as we're in alignment. I'm not going to just collaborate with anyone, but I do feel like if there is a course out there that can bring value to my audience and to my community, I'm more than willing to exploring ways that we can present that to them accordingly. So let's talk. So how do you suggest I market myself to get clients? This is probably the second big question most frequently asked question I get is how do I market myself? How do I get customers? How do I start making money? That is always the big question. Whether you work in real estate, cosmetology, you're a lifeguard, whatever the case, right? We all want to get to the coin, collect the bags, cash the checks, all of that. And it starts with you. It starts with those you know, networking, not just with strangers, but also with family and friends, past coworkers, people you may know, your neighbors. People that live in homes all have something to do with real estate. So you could start with your family and friends. It could be a simple text, phone call, just letting them know you're currently pivoting your career, or you've been doing this and you're just looking to grow and expand and reach a specific target audience, whatever the case may be. But I always like to start with those I know. That's how I started this podcast. I reached out to people I knew first to interview and just kept building from there. I would also suggest cold calling. email marketing, whether you're sending emails or building a list. I know there are websites where you can buy email lists. I would definitely do my own research and due diligence on that matter. But there are options to expand your reach when it comes to emails. But I would definitely start working on building your own email list, because if social media decides to go down, or maybe your phone's not working for whatever the case may be, having an email list is important to, have direct contact with your audience and your leads and your potential customers. There's also social media. My personal approach, if you're just getting started and social media is not your strong suit, I do not suggest you use every platform. It's overwhelming. You're going to spread yourself thin. You're going to get overwhelmed. It's too much. So start with one that you are most comfortable with or you're willing to learn, and just set little goals for yourself. Set a goal of 100 posts in Q1, quarter one, documenting your journey. It could have nothing to do with the actual business that you're transaction coordination. If that's the route you're choosing to take, it could be what you're doing behind the scenes. I'm about to sign up for my LLC. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. It took me 3 days to figure this out, but I got it. I consulted with an attorney. I was on YouTube for hours. People love that stuff. People love transformations and watching people grow and learn and elevate. So master the art of getting comfortable on social media first, and then you can start exploring other platforms outside of your comfort zone. But if you have the budget, you can hire someone to do it for you, and they can cover all platforms. There's just so many different ways you can go about marketing yourself on social media. But if you're solo, the budget's low, maybe just start with one platform and the style you're most comfortable with. Do you like being in front of the camera? Maybe you just want to do voiceovers. Maybe you want to react to people's content. Perhaps you want to buy ads on social media and only post photos that have your website on it. You can have 3 posts on your Instagram feed. One with a picture of you and who you are in the caption. The second can be a graphic with your colors if you have them chosen. You could, say your colors are black and white, black background, white font, transactionCARE.com. Third post can be a video of you holding up your certificate of completion of whatever it is, a diploma, your real estate license, or your, don't post anything too personal, but your LLC, anything of that nature, or your desk setup, right? People like electronics, and there's so many other ways that you can market yourself as well as get paid. Affiliate marketing. Well, that's a whole other separate topic that I can get into in other episodes or, YouTube videos. But what I'm saying is that once you've kind of simplified your social media, you can use those posts as ads that you purchase on social media. So if you have a budget of $100 a month and it'll just redirect people to your website, it's simple. It's passive. It's in the background. It's less work, especially if you do not like social media. That's one strategy. You can try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, experiment on your own and see what does. And don't forget newspapers. People still read the newspaper. You can put out an ad. You can buy ad space in magazines. And if you really have the budget, a billboard. You can buy merch, digital products, keychains, stickers. There's so many ways to put yourself out there. You can also do interviews. You can interview people, like how I've started this podcast. You can be on other shows, podcasts, YouTube shows, go live on social media. There's a variety of ways that you can show up for yourself and build that brand awareness, because the internet is so flooded with information. It's really hard to stand out. And what I have found works best truly is rooted in consistency. It's rooted in not driving myself crazy and only doing things that don't work. It's checking in with myself. It's being consistent, even with pausing, taking a break. Let me audit this whole situation. Let me check in and make sure my analytics are good. Let me make sure people are actually responding. Let me try different headlines, different email subject lines, A/B testing. What is working? Is the amount of money I'm investing in ads going anywhere? Should I add more money, less money? But being consistent in however you choose to market yourself is the key to seeing the fruits of your labor, is what I've learned. And that's helped me to build community. That's helped me to gain business. There have been leads that I've been nurturing for a couple of years that are just now coming around. So I could send out an email today to 10 people, just as an example. One of them, 9 out of the 10, well, let's say 5 out of the 10 will say unsubscribe, leave me alone, take me off the list. Why are you bothering me? It's the reality. It happens. The other 4, or maybe the 2 of them, will respond, thank you. The other 2 may say, oh, I'll keep you in mind. And one of them may bookmark your email and come back to it in 2 years, 2 months, and say, hey, are you still a transaction coordinator? Or are you still cutting hair? Or are you still doing catering? Right? Because I don't want to only talk to transaction coordinators, even though this is a real estate-based business podcast. Think about, maybe you have a side hustle. All of these steps can apply to any business that you choose to run, for yourself, for your family, with people. This doesn't all just apply to one niche market of business. These are just general ways of putting yourself out there. And one thing that doesn't ever stop when you're self-employed is marketing and sales. And going back to being consistent, those 2 are consistently in motion. And the moment you stop selling yourself and marketing yourself, you'll start to see a decline in your numbers, your reach, your business, and hopefully not, but your finances. So think about that. And those are just a few suggestions. Of course, it's not all of them, but those are just a few suggestions off the top of my head that I would offer you give a try, and create measurables, SMART goals around them. Like, how many posts do you want to make in a week? What is your desired outcome? Those questions start to show up again. What is my desired outcome in this whole situation? When I am posting, who am I talking to? Who is my customer, my target customer? And talk to that one person every single time. So if you are working as a TC, okay, maybe I want to only talk to top producers in this neighborhood that sell this much annually, quarterly. All right, then start creating content around that and become an expert in that field. And allow everything else to just fall into place as you're still putting in the work. Because remember, we have to meet our blessings halfway. There's one thing to set intentions, to manifest, to will things into your life. But we all know luck is preparation meets opportunity. And that preparation, that planning is all a matter and a result of you taking action, executing, asking for help, setting boundaries. So think about that when you are marketing yourself. Okay, next question. What 3 books really impacted or changed your life? So I love this question because I've recently, in the last few years, have really fallen in love with reading, mostly topics I love and enjoy, such as personal development books, memoirs from entrepreneurs that I admire, and of course, money books. Financial literacy is so important to me. And reading those types of books have really empowered me and given me the confidence to show up in the world that is often tough to endure. And when I'm in doubt or scared about something, nervous or insecure about something, I study it. I study the topic, and I'll binge watch videos of people who are already doing it, who are already where I want to be or where I envision myself being. But the 3 books that came to mind when I saw this question, first, The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, The War of Art, Break Through the Blocks and Win Your Inner Creative Battles by Steven Pressfield. And the third being The 12-Week Year, Get More Done in 12 Weeks Than Others Do in 12 Months by Brian P. Moran and Michael Lennington. I also have an episode number 5, where I list out a bunch of business and personal development books that I recommend. So go check out that episode. It's less than 30 minutes, and I just break down all of the books I've read that have helped me in my journey. So if you want to know more books besides these 3, definitely check out episode number 5. That was a good one. And if you're listening to this part of the episode, you're going to know right now who my special guest is for the final episode of season 1 of the Transaction Care episode number 50, is David Bruckheimer. Yes. And he suggested, he shared a quote with me from one of his biggest inspirations, Les Brown, and it's about reading. And I'm going to read this quote to you, and you're going to see it posted on my social media as well. But this, he said, impacted and changed his entire life. And he still follows this motto, this way of living. But the quote is, read 1 book per month in one area, and in 5 years, you will be among the top 5 experts in the world. Think about that. Read 1 book per month in one area, and in 5 years, you will be among the top 5 experts in the world, by Les Brown. Reading truly is fundamental. I hated it growing up. I did. And thankfully, there were Audible books, ebooks, in my journey that I was able to start with. But now I love reading a book, and I do believe that in 5 years you will become an expert, because I've been reading nothing but personal development books, business books, and although I don't claim to be a guru or a master at these things, because I always will consider myself a student of life, of living, of love, but reading has truly transformed my entire life. And if you want to know where I started, start with those 3 books. The 12-Week Year I just read last year, but I have applied it. I applied it immediately. After I read it, anyone that asked, I suggested it to them. One bonus suggestion, the 12-Week Year is a bit intense, and it could feel like you're sprinting without even warming up. So if you want to gradually make your way to a book, a way of living and executing and working, like the 12-Week Year, I would start with Atomic Habits first, and then the 12-Week Year. And make sure you're applying things as you're reading them. So it might take you a little longer to read these books because you're taking action at the same time, but embrace that. That's life. Embrace the new lessons and the undoing of the habits and the forming of new habits. Clear your space, clear your energy before you proceed into something major like a career change or starting a business. Take your time, be patient. It's okay. But definitely find the books on the matters and the topics that are important to you in your journey and always apply. You don't have to take everything these people say in these books word for word, but there are a lot of great lessons, a lot of great ideas, strategies that do work. And do work. That's it. Okay, I love this question. Do you offer coaching for people that don't work in real estate? And the answer is yes. Yes, 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 yes. Visit my coaching website, firstclassdreams.com, to learn more. Please do tell a friend, share a friend, but definitely visit firstclassdreams.com. That is all pure coaching content, information, and what I'm doing. I truly believe my mission is to uplift and encourage, especially women of color, to thrive in the second season of their life with full confidence. And if you are a TC ready to experience next level living, choose you and create a life that is in alignment with you, or maybe you're not a TC and you're coming from a completely opposite workspace. Either way, I do offer coaching to those that work in real estate, that are real estate professionals, aspiring real estate professionals, those aspiring to be self-employed. So yes, I do offer coaching to people that don't work in real estate. So if that's you or a friend or family member, you can schedule a free discovery call where we can make sure that it's a fit before you make the purchase, before you invest in yourself financially. And please don't allow money to be the reason you don't seek help. Message me privately and we can work it out together. And I mean that. Okay, final question. How do you stay encouraged? Being grateful for all parts of my day is my starting point. Knowing that I'm not in control, but I am committed to my vision, I am committed to my mission, and I am committed to having fun. It makes the journey a lot more enjoyable. And that's my point of view. And the moments that are tough, maybe I'm having a season of low income or loss, I embrace it. I feel it. I pray. I ask myself, what are the opportunities from this situation? And sometimes we need to step away and experience the world, see different points of views, get out there and get your creative juices flowing. There's inspiration and encouragement all around us. And again, going back to gratitude, being encouraged is being thankful, being grateful for the little things. There's about 100 things on my desk that I could be thankful for right now. And yes, those are just things, but then there's also the hundreds and thousands of pieces of me that I can be grateful for. And that can spark encouragement and motivation to do something, to take action, to make an impact. And I like to tell people to create this toolbox for themselves. And it could be real or imaginary, but when you reach into it, when you're in need of encouragement, you can go back to that motivational speech or call a friend, go for a walk, play your favorite playlist, journal, email or text a mental health professional, hire help, seek coaching, build community. There's a vast way of staying encouraged. It's all a matter of knowing who you are, being grateful, and taking it from there. And of course, deep breaths. Breathe. Relax. Be patient and show yourself grace. And just a reminder, failure is simply information for your next steps. I'm going to wrap up the episode right there. But if you do have any questions, or you would like your questions to be answered on the show, please submit them to, you can email me, tc@transactioncare.com, or simply send me a DM. Make sure you're following me on Instagram or TikTok. I'm also very active on TikTok, almost too active, but it's a good time over there. So if you're on TikTok, give me a follow. And before you head out, 2 new episodes are on the way. 1 solo, 1 interview, all to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the Transaction Care podcast. A whole year, 50 total episodes. What are there, like 53 weeks in a year, 52? Wow. I'm proud of myself. I'm not ashamed to admit that. So thank you to me. Visit transactioncare.com to learn more about myself, my services, coaching, this podcast, and please join the email list. Stay tuned. More content, Q&As, motivation, interviews, the whole shebang is on the way. There will be, after next week's 1-year anniversary episodes, there will be a small hiatus, a short hiatus, until we revamp and rebrand and do some things with the show. I want to reach a larger audience, talk about more specific topics. I am so grateful to those that have been on the show. I will be thanking you in more in depth in the next upcoming episode. But if you have ideas, topics, feedback, what you love, what you don't love about the show, I can handle it. I got a lot of early feedback in the beginning of the show, and I applied it immediately. And I have my own blind spots, so it's important that your feedback is relayed to me so I can pivot, adjust accordingly. Because this is for the community. This is for us. So I want to learn and grow together, right? So with all of that said, you can also stream past episodes at transactioncarepodcast.com. Join my TC community. And if you need one-on-one coaching, I'm here to help. Again, please don't allow money to be an issue. We'll figure it out. Just reach out to me. We'll figure it out together. But until then, this has been another episode of the Transaction Care Podcast. I am your host and resident care coordinator, Lillian Hernandez, but you can call me Lilly. Like what? Like the flower. Because we are learning and growing together. I'm giving you the keys. There are no gatekeepers here. Care for yourself. Care for your wealth. Your time is worth it. Let's coordinate. Talk soon.